I'm Victoria Maskaluk, and I would like to share with you some ideas about something that I believe we, the educators around Moldova, should keep in mind while teaching English. And namely, I'd like to share with you some ideas about challenges implementation in teaching English for the 21st century learners. Then it's worth mentioning that the best teacher is the teacher that doesn't teach from the book. This is the person that uses a certain strategy, a certain technique that is appropriate for a certain type of learner, offering in such a way, providing with different skills that the learner needs to choose a path to integrate smoothly into the society. Then today's presentation, I'm going to start with two quotations that were written in two different times, in two different countries. The first one written in the 6th century before Christ, and the second in the 18th century, Anno Domini. Then the first was written by Confucius, that was sure that if the kid hears, then he forgets. If the kid sees, then he remembers, and only if the kid does something he understands. Here we can observe that the key word is I do, or the kid does. Then only by doing, the kid can understand much better the content that we want him to learn or to know. The second saying was written by Benjamin Franklin in the 18th century that says, "Tell me and I forget, teach me and I remember, involve me and I will learn." In this quotation, the key word is involve, and we understand that only through making the kids being engaged in a kind of activity, making the kid do something, there is a great possibility that he will learn the material and he will understand the material much better than simply from memorizing the material. Then I strongly believe that experiential learning that is so fashionable today is one of the types of learnings that offers great possibilities and develops skills that the kids need in order to be successful in the 21st century. And the advantages of implementing experiential learning in the 21st century are the following. First of all, the kids learn from doing, because only if the kid does something, he understands better what he's supposed to know. Moreover, the experiential learning offers opportunities. It makes a kind of connection between the theory and the practice, because generally we try to teach a kind of content, we try to teach a kind of material, but only if we are going to make the kid do something using the material, the portion of the material that we want to teach, that we have in mind to teach, there is greater chance that the kid will know, will remember, and will know the material. I strongly believe that interdisciplinary approach works miracles in kids, because today's life is a kind of mixture of abilities that we use for making a certain task. We are multitasking people. That's why the material should be taught in an interdisciplinary approach that is offered, the kind of opportunity that is offered by experiential learning. Moreover, I strongly believe that if we make the kid reflect on the experience, he can draw or she can draw the conclusions that later can be used in everyday life. Moreover, experiential learning, this is I think one of the only type of learning that gives the possibility to teach content and to develop 21st century skill. This is a powerful teaching tool that addresses students' cognitive, affective, and physical domains. Then the experiential learning theory was developed by a Dewey, Piaget, and Kolb. And this is a kind of theory that, although very fashionable today, it started being developed from the 18th century. Uh, the challenges that we are going to speak about today, they are a part, this is a kind of model of the experiential learning, and you can find a lot of information about challenges and challenge-based learning on different sites. I would like to share then, if you are going to insert in the search bar challenge-based learning, that there will appear a lot of sites, many sites, that will provide with different information how to implement challenges during different disciplines. I like the site challengebasedlearning.org because there are samples of challenges that we can borrow in teaching a certain material during the classes of English. Then the challenge-based learning, or challenges while teaching English, this kind of idea is not very simple to be implemented at an English class. The teacher is supposed to be really very creative, and the teacher is supposed to be, motivated or committed to make a change in the process of teaching English. I would like to make a kind of overview what the teacher of English is supposed to keep in mind while implementing challenges during the classes of English, because this is, of course, not a simple thing to do. Then generally, if we speak only about challenges, then we start with the big ideas. Then there should be a question that the kid is supposed to answer. There should be a challenge. That means a kind of problem that the kids have to answer through doing. They're supposed to offer this solution. That means they're supposed to kind of product. And finally, of course, during the class, the teacher is supposed to assess the product, or the teacher is supposed to encourage the kids to assess each other's projects. Then this is, of course, a kind of task that the teacher is supposed to be prepared for. Moreover, this is a kind of guided lesson that the teacher is supposed to keep in mind while running this lesson. Then I'm going to provide today an example of a lesson for you to be clear what I mean by challenges to be implemented during the classes of English. First of all, I'm supposed to tell you that the challenge-based learning, this is a kind of type of learning that was firstly used in teaching science, technology, engineering, and math. And it may be successfully implemented during the classes of English because first, the challenges make the connection between the content and the skills that should be developed. Secondly, you can, without any trouble, develop language skills that are so important while teaching English, and at the same time offering the possibility to the kids to develop critical thinking, creativity, collaboration, communication. But for all these, you need the engineering design look. This is a kind of structure that facilitates the teacher's job. That means every group of kids is supposed to get an engineering design loop, and you can observe that there are different stages that the kids are supposed to pass through in order to be successful, to achieve the goal. That means to develop skills and to learn the content. Then first of all, we start with asking questions, and then the kids are supposed to imagine something, they're supposed to plan, they create, they experiment, and they improve. Then let's see how it works. Then I have chosen for today one of the topics that are taught in the 11th grade, namely cinema, arts. And I have chosen for this a text that I have abridged, because I really believe that if we want to implement, to use a challenge during the class, then we are supposed to have an abridged text, and there shouldn't be too much content. But of course, definitely we're supposed to develop language skills, the 4 language skills, because we are teachers of English, and when the kid comes to an English class, he's supposed to speak, he's supposed to write, he's supposed to listen. That's why we start with the language skills. Then you're going to observe that my lesson is formed of many stages, and the first stages are the stages that target at developing the language skills. Then, as I have said, the topic is cinema. I have chosen a text that I have abridged, and I'm going to start with providing the kids with a picture. Then this is the picture. This is a kind of camera, and you can see that each leg of the camera has a word, nouns, adjective, and verbs. The picture is not very good, that's why I'm going to show it in Word. Then this is the picture, and the assignment for the first stage of the lesson is guess what the topic of the lesson is, and you're supposed from the picture that you see on the board to select the words that represent nouns, adjectives, and verbs. Then this is the first stage, and the kids are supposed to put down nouns, adjectives, and verbs from the words that they see. For example, camera will go to nouns, Lumiere brothers will go to nouns. They have effect, noun, motion, verb, and so on and so forth. They're supposed, first of all, to pick up the words that they see, and then definitely you're going to ask the kids to provide for 1 or 2 examples of their own, and to decide, to guess what topic you're going to speak about. As we have here a lot of words like cinema, like camera, like shooting, like movement, of course the kids are going to guess the topic. They're going to say that that's going to be, we're going to speak about either cinema or art, movies, so on and so forth. Moreover, they have another hint. They have the picture, that means the camera, that will provide them with a kind of understanding that the lesson is going to be about the cinema or arts movies. Then this is the first stage. The second stage is they're supposed to, of course, we go on with developing language skills, and I strongly believe that, of course, there will be new words there. Of course, there will be words that they know, but these words should be taught in content. And after that, we have the simulation using the directions from the dialogue that is provided by the teacher. And you can observe that there is a dialogue that has connections to the camera to the words, because there will be some words from the cloud, and the dialogue sounds like this. Hi, Victoria. It's so nice to see you here. Hello, Alex. It's good to see you here. How is your stay? Wonderful. I have captured so many beautiful moments. My camera is extremely good. It shoots from any angle. Wow, mine. I'm sorry to hear that. You can observe that you have provided a lot of directions for making the kids feel comfortable about simulating the dialogue, but still there is one part, there is one line that is not provided. The kids are supposed to introduce something that they believe fits the third scene. In this way, we are going to develop, to train the words in context. That is extremely important. Then the text that I have chosen, as I have said, was very long. I have abridged it because I believe that in 45 minutes it's very difficult to teach both language skills and implement the challenge. That's why the text that I have chosen is the following. And you're going to see the underlined words that represent the vocabulary that I want to train during the class. The same vocabulary if you're going to be very attentive when the presentation is over, then you're going to observe that the same words you'll find in the cloud and the same words you'll find in the dialect. That means unconsciously the kids already step by step will learn the words before they're going to be introduced by means of the text. Then this is the text. I'm going to read it very rapidly. The start of the history of film was in Paris on December the 28th, 1895. Cinematography is a broad combination of artistic techniques and camera technologies, which includes everything from framing, lighting, camera movement to lens and shooting. Cinematography began with early technologies such as the camera obscura, kinetoscope, otoscope, and vitascope. The art and use of cinematography initially took many years to develop. The greatest inventors are believed to be Lumiere brothers. In 1895, the Lumiere brothers had the first paid exhibition screening of their short films at the Le Grand Café in Paris. The first films were in black and white. In 1895, the Lumiere brothers shot The Arrival of a Train, that was an innovative, original, and spectacular to watch clip. The angle at which the brothers set up the camera was dynamically composed, giving the impression that the train was coming toward the camera. In 1896, Georges Méliès, a French magician, gave birth to the first known special effects used in films. Over the years, technological advances in the industry, such as the use of light and shadows, 3D films, special camera effects, HD technology, would add to the art of cinematography. However, unknown discoveries in cinematography are still waiting to be found. Then, if you have observed, this is a small paragraph. This is a text that is formed of 3 small paragraphs, and the most important thing, then you give the text to a group and they're supposed to read it, but it is not all. They are supposed to fill in a small table where you are going, by means of which you are going to check the understanding of the text. They are supposed to write the inventors of the motion picture, the place of the invention and the title of the first motion picture, the inventor of the special effects used in the films. Then the table might be different. I have chosen these 3 ideas that I believe are the most important from the text that is provided. Then we have trained, then we introduce the words, then we introduce the words into the context, then we have the text with content that is very important. There is one more possibility you can play in case that you have a very good group of kids, of 11th graders, then you can go to Educa Play, and there is already, I'm sure that you know what Educa Play is. This is a kind of platform where you can make different activities online. The great thing about it, you can download the PDF file. That means in case that you don't have internet connection, then without any trouble, you can use the PDF file. You can use a worksheet. But in case that you are lucky to have internet connection, smart board, a screen in the classroom, then you can use this to see if the kids remember, understand at least the meaning of the words. And you can see here, you can have a kind of race between many groups of kids, because I really believe that group work facilitates the process of learning. It saves a little bit of time. It offers the possibility to different proficiency, English language proficiency learners. Then, in this case, they are going to fill in the gaps. For example, cinematography is a broad combination of artistic techniques and camera technologies, which includes everything from framing, lighting, shooting, movement, and so on and so forth. The great possibility about it, you can check it, whether that's wrong or right. In case that you have a very good group of students, then you can use this as the additional material to check the understanding. In case that the level of English of your 11th graders is not that high, then it's okay if you use only the text, the dialect, and the table to check the general understanding of the content. Then when you are done with the developing of the English language skills, then that's namely the time to introduce the challenge. As I have said, the challenge is a guided process. Then the kids are supposed to be guided by the teacher, and I assure you that at the beginning you are going to have a lot of noise. The class is going to be very messy, but you shouldn't be afraid of noise. You shouldn't be scared and shocked if the kids are going to ask, if the kids are going to make noise while analyzing what they're supposed to do while solving the problem. You're supposed to be extremely happy, because this is a kind of productive noise. Then the challenge should start with a scenario. The scenario, this is a kind of story that the teacher is supposed to create on the basis of the content. And the scenario that I have created is the following. It is 1894. You are one of the Lumiere's friends. You have to invent a device that captures the motion and projects it. The Lumiere brothers have in mind to create a motion picture story. The device has to have lens. It should move to capture the picture. Then, as the text is about cinematography and about cameras, that the first cameras that captured the pictures, then of course we would like them to do something that is connected to the topic. Then I have chosen to make the kids create a camera, but the camera is not a simple one. Then they're supposed to create a camera that is going to capture the motion and project it. Moreover, within this scenario, I used some of the words that I believe that I have chosen for today's lesson vocabulary. And you have the word lens. That is so important for the camera, and this is one of the words chosen. And they are supposed to create the product and to speak on the product. Then this stage, then after this scenario, the teacher is supposed then, this is generally the stages for the teacher, but the teacher is supposed to create a worksheet for the students too. Then each group, I have never never said about the groups, but I believe that the happy number for group work is 3. In case that you have kids of 3, then you are supposed to be sure that the group work is going to be a success. Then each group is supposed to get a worksheet. Then in the worksheet, you are going to have the scenario. They are going to have the challenge. It means the question, the big question they are supposed to answer. And the big question is, how can you construct a device that offers the possibility to capture the picture in the motion? Here, it's clear that the kids, the pupils, the 11th graders are supposed to create a device that will capture the picture in motion. But the teacher first is going to make them imagine the device. Then the teacher will ask the kids to draw the device on the worksheet that is provided. And only after that, when they have discussed, they have drawn the picture, then the teacher tells, okay, and now it's time to come here to approach and to choose the materials. Then generally in such types of lessons, the number of the materials is always limited. Then the teacher provides only a certain number of the materials, and there is a kind of answer why we're supposed to provide only a limited number of the materials. The first reason is that the kids develop critical thinking, that they have, for example, five types of material, and they are supposed to analyze what it's possible to do from these materials. Secondly, they develop creativity. That means still they are going to draw and they're going to say, okay, we have only one disc, then our camera is supposed to be a small one, should be a big one, or the disc is going to be used for lens. I don't know, but generally the kids develop critical thinking and creativity when they are provided with a limited number of the materials. Then the materials that I propose you to offer to your kids, in case that you are going to open to implement this lesson during the classes of English with the 11th graders, the materials are the following: 3 pieces of cardboard, 1 disc, 3 sticks, 2 pieces of modeling clay, and then you provide tools, scissors, and masking tape that can be used as a part of the device. Then the masking tape is going to be used, and moreover, you don't give you give a certain piece of masking tape, for example, 1 meter or half a meter of masking tape, and the scissors that are used only as a tool. Then when the model is drawn and the materials that they want to use in order to construct the device are written down, they are given the materials proper. Then the whole challenge shouldn't last more than 15 minutes. Then it's quite possible at the beginning, in case that you implement challenges for the first time in your life of being a teacher, then it will take a little bit more. But in case that you implement challenges on a regular basis, that it won't take more than 15 minutes. The kids are going to know the whole procedure, and you won't need so much time. That means they are going to be, the productivity is going to be higher. You're going to have a higher rate of productivity. Then when the kids are ready with the product, that means when they are ready with the device, then they're supposed to present the device. And I strongly believe that sometimes we have different levels of English among our learners, and we're supposed to provide with opportunities any kind of learner. That's why I generally believe that the teacher is supposed to provide directions in case that she or he wants that every person, every kid, or every 11th grader is a success. Then here you have the directions for the presentation. Then I'm going to read the directions. Our team has invented a device and its name is, then definitely the device is supposed to have a name. It's quite possible that they're going to say camera or I don't know, or cam, or I don't know. It's up to them to decide what kind of name they want to give to their device. We have used the following materials. This modern device for the 19th century has lens. We have made it move in the following way. Making a self-assessment of the created device, we can give the device a certain number of the points for the design. It's nice. Our device is worth for creativity. This device captures the pictures from different angles and it is worth some points for functionality. If you have observed here, you have a number of points that they are supposed to give themselves while presenting the device. And what are they supposed to consult while making the presentation? Then definitely the teacher is supposed to offer the rubric, and here you can observe that there are three criterion that are generally connected to the presentation. Then the first criterion is the design. The group demonstrated the understanding of the design and they're supposed to give themselves 20 points. The device is unique and creatively made, 10 points. And the device move, it's functional, 10 points. Then all the devices are supposed to be worth 40 points. There is another way to make the evaluation. That means you are going to name a group that is going to make, you're going to have a kind of peer evaluation. You are going to name a group that is going to make the evaluation of the colleagues. They are supposed to be very attentive and they are supposed to observe how the device works. Then it's up to you to decide. I really believe that self-evaluation works much better because it aims at developing critical thinking that is so important for today's life. But that's the decision of the teacher. Then the teacher always knows what works better with the students, with the learners. Then this is the last stage. Then you have observed that there are 4 stages that the lesson has. Then we have a 45-minute class. Of course, the tempo of work should be very high. That means the teacher is supposed to monitor the time. The teacher is supposed to pay attention to the time because otherwise he won't manage to implement the challenge. But I believe that this type of lessons work the best with the kids of today. Believe my word, they are sick and tired already of technology. They are much better than we are. And because they are digital learners, I think that they are behind with doing something because this is something that we generally don't do. Or maybe the teachers of other disciplines do. But we, during the classes of English, we have another aim, and the greatest majority of teachers are going to say the same thing, that our job is to teach language skills. I strongly believe that you are right, but I'm sure that in case that we are going to integrate the development of the skills that the kids need for the 21st century, believe my word, they are going to be really very thankful, because I think that the Moldovan kids today, they speak much better English, than they analyze something, than they criticize on something. Of course, we need to train some skills that they need for life. They need for the successful integration into the society to become really very successful in life. Then coming to an end, I would like to say that don't forget that the kids understand much better when they do. Don't forget that the kids learn much better when they are involved in doing something. And don't forget one thing. The best teacher doesn't teach from the book. It teaches from the heart. It chooses the best strategies, the best techniques that fits the best technique that fits the necessity of the learner, developing some skills that the kid needs to integrate smoothly into the society, thus providing opportunities, thus offering them the possibility to take the path that they want. Coming to an end, I really hope that we, the educators in the Republic of Moldova, can in a way reframe the process of teaching English. And in this way, in this respect, challenge-based learning is a great opportunity. Try your hand at it. Thank you so much. That was great sharing this idea with you. See you soon.